भगवान श्री योगी राम सूरत कुमार की जय। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। राम 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 योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया। राम 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 Yogi Ram Surat Kumar भगवान श्री योगी राम सूरत कुमार की जय। सर्वं योगी राम सूरत कुमारार्पणमस्तु। Blessed as we are, we have offered the Nama lotuses at the lotus feet of Bhagavan with deep gratitude. We have been seeing story after story as told by Papa Ramdas and later narrated by Bhagavan. These stories were much relished by our Bhagavan, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar. Here is one more story and one more lesson for all of us to learn. We have been seeing how Bhagavan said that everything happens only by the will of God, and whatever happens is only grace. Whatever happens is necessary for our spiritual growth, and whatever happens is grace. Now we shall see the story. There was a forest. Near the forest, there was a kutir, a small hut in which a couple, a husband and wife, were living. It was somewhat near the forest, a very lonely spot. They had a bull with them, and then a parrot in a cage inside a house. And at the back was also a dog. Now the bull was being used by the couple to carry the load of things that they had to sell in the nearby city. The bull was being very useful to them, and every day the husband would load the bull with all the things that he wanted to sell. And so the bull was very, very important to their life. And of course the dog would bark if anybody came near, or any animal, and so they knew. It alerted them, and they would immediately become prepared for it. And then the parrot, what was its role? Every day, early morning, it would call out the master of the house and wake them up. So all the three were necessary for them, very important to their life. And life was going on so well, very smoothly, a good flow. But suddenly one day, a tiger, a ferocious tiger, came out of the forest unexpectedly, and then it killed the bull, took it away into the forest. Now, of course, the wife was grief-stricken. She just could not accept it. She could not stomach it. She said to her husband, "How unfair, what injustice. We had only one bull to support us, and now it's gone. How terrible it's all. I'm unable to bear it." And then she would start crying. The husband would say very quietly, "We are worshipping God, and God is running our life. So whatever God does, whatever is His will, it's perfect. There must be something in it, some benefit in it. Otherwise this wouldn't happen. God knows what He is doing and why He is doing. So we need not be alarmed. We need not be sorrowful. There must be something in it, otherwise God would not have done it. So it's for our greater good." Now the wife got wild with him. "How can you say such things? How can this be beneficial to us? You are being very stupid, you are insensitive. That's all I can say. The husband was quiet. He would not say anything further. And then, one day, the parrot, in that unguarded moment, the cage opened and then it flew away. It got hit somewhere and it fell dead. Now once again, the wife felt terrible, unable to bear the loss, and she was lamenting and lamenting, telling her husband, how can God be so cruel? The parrot was helping their life so much. It was the one that woke them up early in the morning. Now who would do it? But then the husband said, once again quietly, you see, this has also happened by the will of God, and there must be some good in it. Otherwise it wouldn't happen. Whatever God does is for our greater good. Let us accept it quietly. Now once again, the wife was so angry with him. She beat herself on the chest, on the head, and cried aloud, saying, what have I landed with? What kind of husband is he? He cannot even share the grief and the loss. She was even more grief-stricken at the attitude of her husband. She thought it was very cruel of him. But then, of course, the dog was there at the back. It was still a protection for them. And life went on without all those things. Though they suffered, the husband was not to be put out by all those things. He was very, very convinced, he was very sure whatever God did was only for their greater good. Though they didn't understand why God did what he did. Now, after some time, they found that the dog had gone to the city and it was found in the streets, and something happened, either an accident or something. There was so much blood out and it was dying, and finally it died. It died too. So they lost the one support that was left out, and now that's also gone. Now you can imagine the state of the wife. She was almost mad. She was so agonized over it. She could not sleep, she could not eat. She felt terrible. But then, time is a great healer. And the husband this time also said, don't be affected so much by this. I'm sure God knows what He is doing and He is running our life. This also must be good for us. This must be for our greater good. So let us accept it quietly. And now that angered his wife even more, that made her mad with anger, with sorrow, with fear, insecurity. But the husband was totally unaffected. He strongly believed that whatever happened in their life was because of God's will, and that should be for the greater good of the family. And then one day, the night was quiet for them, they had gone to sleep. And the next day morning, they woke up and they came out and they were shocked at the sight of things around. Right from a certain distance from the kutir, they found only dead bodies. Almost everybody in the city nearby was dead. Their dead bodies were all spread out. And what was more, every house was looted mercilessly. Everybody was beaten up to death. Such cruelty, such havoc they found. to their dismay, it was so horrid. And then they found out a band of murderers. They had come, the thieves had come, entered, the cruel thieves had entered the city. They must have come to the place near the forest, their kutir also. But then they thought there was nobody in the hut. There was no sound at all. So they just didn't bother. They thought there was nobody in the house. So they went ahead into the city and then they caused this disaster. Then the husband said, "Do you realize now? Had we had this bull still, it would have definitely made noise and they would have found this bull outside the house, in the backyard, and they would have known that we were there inside a hotel, and we would also be one of those dead bodies. Had the dog lived on, it would have barked surely, and they would have killed the dog. And they would have found out that we were inside, otherwise the dog wouldn't be barking and the dog wouldn't be there." And again the parrot would have made noise too. And that would have landed us in trouble and in death. Now because we lost all the three, the house was so quiet and the murderers thought there was nobody inside and we were spared. Our lives were spared. You see, I have been telling you, whatever God does is only for our greater good. We should learn to accept whatever He gives as a gift of grace alone. So you see from the story, as told by Papa Ramdas, later as narrated by Bhagavan, teaches us without doubt how things get arranged. The disaster never comes single. They happen one after the other. And of course, we would be desperate, we would be in bleak despair, and in utter helplessness, we would feel like death. And yet, as happened in the story, every loss, every disaster that happens in our life is meant for our greater good. If we firmly believe that, then we would be able to see the inner truth of the happenings and their beneficial result. We shall now offer our today's prayer at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. Bhagavan, we pray to you again and again. We beg you, for that's all we can do. And we do it a million times for your immediate divine intervention to bring forth a dharmic normalcy to the world today. As it happens, there is so much violence around and growing enmity. And there's a lack of discipline, and people live any way they like and create a philosophy for that, to suit themselves, to justify it. And there's already the war going on with its disastrous, devastating results. And then the cruel diseases, how they attack us. And all of a sudden, not to mention the furies of nature, like the forest fire, flash floods, and the lightnings that happen, and then the earthquakes. We saw only recently how Turkey and Syria were affected. Thousands of people died, and thousands are still suffering, unable to come out of it, affected both physically, mentally. Bhagavan, we beg you again and again to stop this war, and bring forth peace everywhere. We beg you to bring in peace, harmony, order where there is chaos, and disciplined life. And again, growing friendship and mutual help. We beg you to stop this war. We keep on begging you day after day, hoping all the time the war will stop. And one day it will surely happen, and that sooner than later. We also beg you to uproot all the negativities of the human mind that are responsible for today's world, the world of violence. And we also beg you to keep under control these diseases and the violence of nature. We beg you again to reach out to those people who have been stranded in varied places of the earth, affected by some past karma. They've been going through some agonies, helplessly, unable to get any protection. We beg you again and again to do the needful. We also beg you to protect all those unselfish people who have been slogging for the welfare of others from unhealthy reproaches and aspersion. We beg you again to give a huge boost to the economy and promote the growth in varied fields of activity, from science and technology to culture and spirituality, that India should soon reach that high status of the world teacher, to conduct the whole world in the path of Dharma, as predicted by the great ones. We pray to you in all intensity, earnestness and sincerity for ceaseless and joyful chanting of your powerful name and unbroken remembrance of your leelas and teachings, so that we assimilate it and make it into our Atma Shakti. And Bhagavan, we beg you to bless us to be only sattvic instruments in your hands and not rakshasic elements. Please bless us to run our everyday life as an offering to you and not be caught by the temptations of Maya. We also seek that ultimate state of bliss and peace, the state of yours. But then we need to be purified. Our minds are like forest filled with fear, insecurity, anger, poisonous anger, sorrow, which often leads to depression, enmity, jealousy, and growing desires for worldly possessions. These are all the dirt of the mind. Only your powerful name is a powerful weapon which can destroy our past sins and cleanse our heart. We beg you again to bless us with that ceaseless, joyful chanting of your powerful name, to cleanse ourselves. Wherever we live in this world, whatever work falls upon our hand, we know it is your work, the whole cosmos is yours. Realizing this, understanding this, we should do it as service to you in the spirit of surrender, and that joyfully, without any unhealthy competition or jealousy. Then all this would become our Atma Shakti again. Bhagavan, please bless us to practice acceptance. It's the most difficult practice. Acceptance of what? Joy or sorrow that life brings to us. Life alternates between the two as per our karmic sheet. But then they come only by your will. And whatever you do must be a great blessing for us. As we saw in the story just now, something while happening may be very, very negative, terrible, unable to bear. And yet, in time, it could prove itself to us to be a great blessing. And most of the time, it's meant for our spiritual transformation. If there is no sorrow at all in the world, we would never turn to God. So every grief that's brought to us by life is a blessing in disguise. It pushes us towards God. As we progress, we should be able to detect that living, vibrant presence everywhere and in everything. Please bless us to be able to see your sankalpa, your will, behind all the happenings of life. It is your grand plan that is at work all the time. And more importantly, we should be able to detect that hidden grace even in the most devastating experience of life. But then what happens? All of a sudden, some negative karma begins to play up. Everything goes wrong in life. Everything misfires. And we collapse, unable to bear it. We resent you and your grace. We feel cheated and let down by you. And we try to move away from you. And we begin to blame everyone else for our own failures, little realizing that we brought it upon ourselves by our own past bad karmas. Yet, compassionate and generous that you are, you would convert all these difficulties into great blessings. You have promised so. Please bless us to be grateful to you, even for the adversities of life. Bhagwan, we seek your powerful blessings for all the species of the cosmos. Whatever state of being they are, whatever state of misery, to be lifted to a higher plane. We finally seek liberation, dissolution. Liberation from what? From the vicious cycle of births and deaths. We who have been seeking only solutions for the endless problems of life now seek dissolution of the root cause of this vicious cycle of births and deaths, and that is aham bhavam, our identity with the body, our selfishness, utter selfishness, the I and mine that play havoc in life. We beg you to promote the Atma Bhavam and bless us with that immortal life, that eternal living and eternal servitude to you, the eternal supreme divinity. Jai Hare Rama.